Hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lunch with Linda. I'm Linda Daniels, and you are now inside Northampton Wolves in bright and sunny Northampton, Mass, even though we did have some rain this morning. How are you all? I want to thank you all for showing up and say hello and welcome to all of our new people that are tuning in, whether you tune in now or later on. We appreciate you and are happy to have you here. I've heard from a number of people that are just finding us. I heard from one woman that came in this week that said she watches a lot of YouTube podcasts. I'm just trying to slow down a minute. And she said, we just popped up on her sidebar there of things you might like to see. So we're getting discovered by more people, which is great. And as usual, I really enjoy hearing when you come into the store that you're watching, that you're enjoying it, that you're finding it fun and valuable. I need to calm down for a minute because Kate and I were just rushing at the last minute
and laughing
to lock the door, and I just told her a joke, so we were a little bit out of control, as usual. Last week, I talked about expectation versus reality and being distracted by yarn. And not 2 hours later, I had a prime example of it, and I wanted to share it with you. A woman came in the afternoon asking me about embroidering on a blanket, a baby blanket that she had just finished, that she was giving as a gift, and she wanted to embroider the baby's initials. So we talked about different ways of doing that, how you can duplicate stitch it or actually embroider it and what she might need to do it. And we ended up deciding that embroidery floss would be a way for her to go. And we both moved over into the corner where the embroidery floss was. And as I'm saying, here are all the colors to choose from, she is saying, look at this baby sweater. What yarn is this? And off we go into what pattern it is and what the yarn is. And the yarn was all right there. It was the earth fingering weight. We have a 5-minute discussion about it. I move back to the desk, sit down in my chair and go, oh, we completely forgot about the embroidery floss. That's what I mean by distracted by yarn. She did go back, choose the right colors that she thought would work, but it was just so funny to have a prime example like that. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen to many of you because, boy, do we have yarn in the store now. We got in the Trendsetter yarn that I've been waiting for. Trendsetter yarn is located out in California, just about 20 minutes from where my son lives. So every time I go out to visit them, I make it a point to swing by and visit with Trendsetter Yarns with Anita and Barry. And I was able to do that this last time and really see all of the new colors and the new yarns that they've brought in and place our order. And I wanted to point out a couple of things to you because they're just so fun. One of the yarns is this confetti. We've had this in before. We have a few skeins left from last year, but we got in all new colors, and I was so enamored of them that Thursday night I started the new model and finished it I brought it in yesterday. This is knit on a size 15 needle, and I want to show you something in a second after I'm done talking about it, a tip for working with big needles. So the yarn itself is a big fat single ply, but the colors this year are more of a dot color. This is the new colorway, and this is what the old colorways look like. They're a little bit bigger areas of color. These are much smaller. So you have little shots of different color. Can you see that black or the blue and the turquoise versus these longer bits of color from the old colorway? Now the old colors, we have enough to make a hat. Took just one skein to make the hat. It took 6 skeins to make the sweater. The pattern is written for a size 15 needle. And remember, I talked about when the Supreme Merino came in, I talked about how uncomfortable a size 17 and 19 needle can be. Well, this sweater is knit at that 17 to 19 gauge, but there's a great tip or trick, and that's in the knit and purl. Instead of just doing straight stocking net stitch on a fat needle, what you do is knit 1 stitch and then yarn over, and then knit the stitch and yarn over. And you do that across the entire row. And I'm just using a size 11 needle because that's what we had, easy to hand. And then on the purl row, you simply purl the stitches, but slide the yarn over off.
Oh.
Purl the stitch and slide the yarn over off. So you're doing stocking net stitch, but you have all this extra yarn which goes into the stitch, and it ends up making that stitch nice and big. That's the stitch.
Wow.
And if you just knit on a size 15 needle, or if you just knit a size 15 needle without using that yarn over, you would have a tighter gauge. So this is really the gauge of a 17 to 19 needle, depending on how loosely or tightly you knit. So it goes really fast without the uncomfortableness of holding those big needles. I did a sleeve. I started with, and I did the sleeve in about an hour and a half. So overall, this little pullover takes about 8 hours to knit. There's what it looks like in the pattern.
So cute.
This was originally done in one of the colors from last year, but this is what it looks like now in that new color. I just love it.
That's awesome.
It also is this toned down greens. I don't know, there's so many colors in each colorway, purples and blacks.
We have 8 new colorways.
We have 8. And I love this one. This is appropriate for October.
Oh,
it might be a little Halloween-y, but it really is pretty.
It's got the purple,
Really fun.
the red, very fun.
So the other thing that I wanted to mention about this is that it does come in a booklet, and in the booklet are 8 different patterns. A cardigan, a scarf, that's another view of the cardigan, the sweater, a cowl, that vest that's behind me, and a hat. Or you can get just the pattern for the pullover, or just the pattern for the hat, or just the pattern for the vest, free when you buy the yarn. So 6 skeins. It's not teeny tiny, but that's on the small side. If you're gonna make it any bigger, you will need more skeins than that. So fun new confetti yarn. The other yarn that we got from them is this Giganti. I showed you the Giganti because I was making a scarf out of it in the black and white, which I sold yesterday. So we don't have to worry about that. But this sweater is knit with it, and I love this sweater with pockets. This is the pattern right here.
What?
Same
Can you
thing.
hold it up again?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got like a little
Slits
collar.
on the side.
Yeah.
It does have a little collar when you have eyes.
Oh, okay.
This I should really be in a larger size
So
than this
full.
because it will roll like that.
Cool.
But this yarn is alpaca and poly. So it's 70% alpaca. This is so soft. Were you able to hold it next to your neck, Kate, and not itch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't itch.
It's so soft. It is a brushed alpaca, and again, meant to be knit on a size 10.5 or 11 needle. I can't actually remember, even though I looked it up. I
Yeah,
think it only
it's
took
giving me-
3 skeins.
It's giving me the same feeling as my headband, so.
Yeah, it's 3, 4, or 5 skeins on a size 9 needle, but you can definitely knit it on a 10 as well. Super soft, which means it makes it very lightweight. This is not a dense sweater, but because it's alpaca, it's actually a very warm sweater. So we've got some fun colors. This is a long but erratic colorway. You can see that in the sleeve. You don't have regular spaced stripes. It's kind of all over the place, and there's basically 3 colors in it: the blue, the darker gray, and then this medium shade of blue. And they're just, look at this color, the teal and turquoise with that gold. That's gorgeous.
That's really nice.
I might have to make mine out of this color.
Complimentary, yes.
But there's also this one. I told you it's the year of the puffy yarn, big fat skeins, not taking much to do it at all. This is the color of the sweater that I have on. And like I said, 3 to 4 skeins will make a decent size
really
sweater.
Nice. Purple and
One
brown.
skein does that scarf, and that scarf has that really fun 5-stitch fringe. You start by knitting stockinette stitch over 5 stitches, and you do that 8 times, and then you knit across all 40 stitches, and you're off and running on the scarf. So some fun yarns from Trendsetter Yarns. A lot of the Trendsetter yarns are in and out. They'll be here for 1 or 2 seasons, and then they're gone. So we've got inventory in both of those yarns right now, sweater inventory, if you're interested. The other thing that I got from them is this Super Kid tweed. This is from Lana Grossa, which is distributed by Trendsetter, and this stuff is so beautiful. You do not cannot find a lace weight mohair that has that tweedy look in it, but Trendsetter brought it in, and I fell in love with it when I could see it out there.
Let's see if I can hold it right here.
Nice and hairy, and we only got 4 colors in, but it does come in some other colors, but I was like cautious about it.
I'm gonna zoom in, so hold them up.
Okay. The gold and the off-white,
Oh yeah.
the light gray, and the dark gray, which I of course also started to knit. I am making just basically a simple cowl, and we'll see how far into this cowl this one skein of yarn goes. This is not knitting for the faint of heart. It is a fairly simple knit 3 purl 3 pattern, and it's on a decent size needle. I'm using size 7 to make this, but the pattern calls for size 8. But because it's just that single strand of mohair, and of course I'm on a black needle, how stupid is that?
So spooky.
Really dumb. But it is giving me a little bit of, I gotta watch this, I gotta watch this, I gotta watch this. And I'm used to like just closing my eyes and counting to 3. But you will need to be a little bit careful when if you use this yarn singly. With a backer yarn, held together with something, it's going to be fantastic. Think ranunculus, think calliope. We haven't talked about that one in a while.
That's a good one.
Even love notes would be beautiful in this tweed. I want to take a little break here and talk about Yarn Engage. Shelly is doing a Yarn Engage class at the end of November. And if you are one of those people who says, I never have to do gauge, great. If you don't understand gauge or want to know more about how different yarns relate to gauge, you definitely need to take this class. Kate has started a Sophie scarf,
Shawl.
a Sophie shawl, and she started it on size 8 needles.
The 8s are the bamboo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this was the first one that she did. And it's fine. It looks good, and it's on gauge. But here's one of the things about gauge, especially when you're doing something like this. This doesn't really have to fit a body. She needs to have enough yarn to make the shawl. And being on gauge has given her a fabric and a look like this. So she could continue, but this is a piece, it's like this, that fits around your neck. You want it to be really, really supple and drapey. And it, in Kate's mind, and I agree, this gauge feels dense and a little bit thick, which you don't necessarily want around your neck. So she took it up a needle size. She's now working the same yarn on a size 9 needle and the same pattern. She has knit the same amount on each of them. Now, I'm not sure you're going to be able to pick it up in the video because the difference is subtle. It's maybe half a stitch. Did you measure it, Kate? Do you know what it is
I was
exactly?
just happy with it.
And I can see close up and in person, I can see that these stitches are larger than these. This also is much drapier. It folds into my hands, crunches up into my hands much more easily than the stiffness of this one. They both do, but this one feels completely different. So Kate is going ahead and going to finish the whole thing on the size 9 needle. Now, she didn't rip this out. She didn't rip out her first gauge. And that also is important. We had the same discussion in the slipper class that I taught yesterday. People got through most of the slipper. They probably finished on Saturday night because most of them were only a couple of rows away. But a couple of them were not happy with how the slipper looked. They struggled a little bit with some of the stitch patterns or machinations because it was a difficult stitch to do. And I told them not to rip that slipper out. They needed that as a prototype, but to go ahead and make the second slipper. The first slipper gave them like something to look at, a reminder of what each step was, a way to compare how good does the second slipper look in comparison to the first. Once you're happy with the second piece, then you can go ahead and rip that first piece or that first item out. So Kate will be able now to rip out her first kind of swatch, if you will, because she knows now that she really does like the size 9 needle, that it really is making a difference. And the very interesting thing is that she found that on the size needle, she was using, it was going further and using less yarn, which is true. The bigger your gauge, the less yardage you use as you knit. So if you're knitting something at 5 stitches to an inch and you need 10 yards, at 4 stitches to an inch, you might only need 8 yards. It plays that kind of math. So if you want to learn more about that whole yarn and gauge relationship, think about taking Shelley's class. It's a great class, even for more experienced knitters, because Shelley is a really great teacher and will cover a whole lot of stuff like that. Why one yarn works for a sweater and another one doesn't, what drape actually means, and all kinds of fun things like that. So that class is coming up. I will be sending out an email probably tomorrow because we've added some classes. We had our cloud sweater class has sold out, and I'm going to schedule it again for a Sunday. So look for that. Also, I sent out an email about our Cape retreat, Escape to the Cape. That is not happening until March. It is listed on our website on the classes page, right, Kate? Classes, the classes page. Now, I sent out the email and I've talked about it. It's over the first weekend in March, March 7th, 8th, and 9th. But for the next month, we're sort of keeping it a little secret. You have to have either watched this or be on our email list and actually opened the email before we announce it to the general public. And that means basically taking information to the New England Sheep and Wool Festival at the beginning of November. We're going to have a booth there, and I will be handing out information about it if it doesn't sell out. In this first initial email, we can take 26 people, and we have sold to 10. So if you're thinking about it, don't wait too much longer. I think you probably still have some time, but if you really want to do it, I wouldn't wait very long, because I have a feeling it's going to go to capacity. We didn't do it last year because the timing wasn't right. It is our 17th year of holding a retreat, so we have a lot of fun and do some really fun projects during it. We're going to be doing learning how to do the doodle deck at the Cape this year. So that's up on the website as well. So look for the new classes website too. So we got in 2 other little orders that I wanted to tell you about. We got in a refresh of our Lemonwood mini minders because we're down to about 3 left. And she's done some new ones. So we have sunflowers. These are not yet on the website because literally the mailman brought them as Kate and I are planning. I love, love, love this one. This cabin in the woods, a real winter kind of Christmassy scene, although it's not a Christmas tree. Look at that chimney. It's so fun. Personality. This one is called Lupine, and it's actually sparkly in there. That background has a little like fluorescent paint drops that shine in.
Almost like seashell kind of.
Yeah, it's called Lupine, but I can see lots of other stuff in there. Then we got, I think this is it's butterflies and milkweed pods, which are really very nice. And then we got 2 kind of artsy ones. The star with the multicolored background. Oh, and this one is, I think it's bamboo trees.
We were really into the color of the leather.
And then the one that I'm calling the NBC Peacock, although it's not really the NBC Peacock, it just reminds me so much of it.
Cool.
So Kate will be putting those up on the website if you haven't gotten 1 or 2. Goodness me, how can you knit out in public if you don't have one of those? And then we got in another really fun order from Emma Ball. Oh my goodness. She just keeps knocking these things out. This one was done actually by a guest artist. So it has his name on the side. Eric Heyman is the name of the artist. And it is a hedgehog.
Oh, it's too cute.
He's so cute. And look at these really fall touches. Not only are the colors right, but he's even got the little maple helicopter seeds that we New Englanders absolutely love. A mushroom and different colored leaves, different tree leaves. This is a good size zippered pouch with a polka dot in the middle.
Like a mushroom.
Like a mushroom. So we got these in, and we got 2 new mugs. Speaking of mugs.
Which one is that? Oh, the sheep.
That's from the Sheep and Wool Fair last year. We got in chickens. These are bone china, and they're all different breeds of chickens. And my goodness, if you are an emotional support chicken lover, you gotta have these. And look,
they have personality.
They do, and it is bone
Thin.
china. And there's a felted cottage on the handle. Isn't that sweet? These are really, really beautiful. And even the bottom of the cup is decorated.
Oh my gosh, how fun.
Isn't that fun? The best part is that these mugs all come in a really sturdy gift box. So once you take the mug out, you have a great little treasure trove to put all of those special things in. And then we got all the sheep and alpaca, but then this is a new sheep design with all of the big sheep in hats. And this one also, am I holding it right? Yeah. Has the bottom decorated, and it has just a felted.
Is there a sheep wearing a hat with sheep on it? There is, that blue and green?
They all, oh yeah, the sheep with the sheep hat
Oh,
on. Classic design. And if that's not enough, we have even more. We also got in some new tins. These little stitch marker tins come with a set of stitch markers in them. Some of them are regular knit stitch markers, and some of them are what they're calling crochet markers because they have, there you go, they have the little lobster claw on them, but knitters use these kind of markers as, the word progress keepers, exactly. Thanks, Kate. So if you need to measure, you can clip this on your knitting and measure so many inches up from where that is. So those two new tins, we also have new markers, different types of knitted hats, 2 of each design. And you those markers either in a tin, or if you already have a tin, you can get them separately. And the hat pattern, it does have the one with the shape on it.
And you get a nice big pin.
And she also did, are you ready? Sit down. Get your wish list started. Socks.
Oh
my goodness, look at those.
God.
So darn cute. And then also the ones that I just showed you are all the different kinds of, not different kinds of sheep, all the different sheep wearing different hats.
All their little personalities.
Their little personalities
Aww.
shine through. So man, people, we are stocked to the hilt. We even had to put precious yarn downstairs just to make room for new yarn. I haven't even shown you everything, but as I ferociously knit and have stopped sleeping at all, I will show you our new things every week, because any minute now we're going to have a frost and you're going to be looking for what to knit, how quickly can you knit it, and we are ready as always to help you with that project, whether it's big or small, long or short, whatever needle size you want to knit with, we've got you covered. And I hope to see you. Reminder, we are open on Sundays now from 1 to 5. I will be scheduling some classes during that Sunday time, so there'll be somebody else here to help you as well. We look forward to seeing you. Oh, one other quick little thing. Kate is also madly knitting pumpkins.
I can't stop.
Look at Spooky Pumpkin. Oh my goodness. And this is a real stem. What makes her pumpkin so unique is that she has been collecting, saving, and putting on real stems onto her pumpkins. And you wouldn't even know that this didn't actually come with a stem. It's so perfectly placed. Kate, you're doing an exquisite job.
Thank you.
Okay, these are Fast and Furious, so if you are in a pumpkin mood, make sure you get in here pretty soon. So that is it. That's the show for this week. I hope we see you, and in the meantime, go knit something. Bye-bye.